Hey guys, Dennis here, and we have Dan in the top corner, Alex down here on bottom, Muddy Water Search and Recovery. And hope you guys are doing well tonight.
Doing
And
great.
Catfish says Dennis eats it up when I pick on him. That is a normal thing.
What?
he was talking about somebody come on said that they were sorry for being late. Catfish says no one is late yet. The only one that's been late is Dennis 5 times in a year, and tonight makes 6. That's because
Oh,
Catfish missed out on all the rest of it.
that's right.
And those who maybe their first time watching one of our lives, thank you for being here first off. But we have several people that watch regularly, and just the friendship basically that's been made between us and them. We pick on each other constantly, just have a good time with it. And
Yeah.
Kim had responded back to them. That's okay. Got football in the meantime. Can't go wrong with football.
No, not
Hey,
unless.
Bobby.
Hey, Missouri won their game yesterday, so I'm still kind of on cloud 9 with that.
Yeah. James, the electrician buddy of mine that I help out do stuff with, he took his oldest son and they went down there to watch the game. Watched it. They came back to today. So pretty exciting.
And Yvonne, I hope I pronounced that right. I have received your emails, and thank you very much for sending those over. And we are looking into those, and we'll be doing what we can with that. And oh my goodness, Missy Scott. It's been a blue moon since we've seen Missy Scott on here. And now that I said that, I'm hoping it's the same Missy Scott. So, guys, tonight's going to be a little bit different. We've got, as I'm sure all of you guys know, the last few weeks, it seems like missing people have been found left and right. I mean, they're being found everywhere. And we do have some updates on some of those that we're going to go over with you guys. And some of these, there's some talking points we want to get into. I know one big talking point that I know Dan wants to get into has to do with the Amber Alert system. There's another talking point Alex brought up to me that, I feel absolutely needs to be covered. So as we go through these, we'll go through some of them, and that's going to break us off into different talking points. But there's 16 of these cases to give updates on, so we'll try to get through them pretty quick. Let me pull up the first one. The first one, he has not been found yet, but we do have an update. Alexander Perez went missing from Ulysses, Kansas, December 1st of 2020. And he is still missing. However, the KBI, or Kansas Bureau of Investigations, have said that 44-year-old Oscar Corrales of Garden City was arrested on a warrant for second-degree murder. After an investigation by the Garden City Police Department, he was also arrested for racketeering, possession of methamphetamine with intent to distribute, possession of drug paraphernalia, and theft. He was actually arrested at the Finney County Jail, where he was actually spending time on unrelated charges, and that investigation is ongoing. This particular case, I actually was working on before Alex and Tammy even, I believe it was before Alex and Tammy become members of Muddy Waters, and just hit a roadblock on it. We had information come in, but nothing was leading to anywhere. It wasn't leading to any locations that needed to be searched. And I'm having a tough time putting this case together enough to find locations that need to be searched in this. One report that come in was a finger had been found that was believed to be tied in this case, but nothing ever come of that or anything.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to continue to do what we can. Hopefully more information comes out and we can get some locations to search. But until we have a little bit more, we're kind of hung up on this one.
You said he's out of
Ulysses, Kansas.
Okay. Definitely have to look into that. See what
it's been pretty interesting. Kansas Missing and Unsolved. They done the flyer. They bring it out quite a bit over on their YouTube and social media pages. And I believe Ricky has actually been in contact with family members on that. So I'm going to get with him and see if he has anything that could help point us in the right direction on that.
Okay.
The next one, I like these ones. This is Sherry Miller, who was missing from Heston, Kansas since December 12th. 61-year-old female, and thankfully she has been located safe. So when you have a missing persons case, you can't ask for better outcome than that. And that's just going to carry straight over to the next one. We had two young missing females, Hayden Lynch and Taylor Sperry, 15 and 16 years old. And they both went missing out of Junction City, Kansas on December 17th. And again, thankfully, both young ladies were located safe. And again, Kansas Missing and Unsolved done an incredible job keeping their case out in the public eye. And I see OK Diver in the comments. You know, he is another one who is out looking for missing people. And these guys are just, they're all incredible. The next one.
Not a problem, OK Diver.
Make sure I've got the right one pulling up here. Okay, let's jump back one real quick. There we go. Janet Spoon, she was unfortunately located deceased, missing out of Cowley County, Kansas, December 22nd of 2023. She, I'm 69 years old. She had went out with friends that evening. They found her vehicle beside the highway. It was broken down. They believed that she had walked away. And then a few days later, they did find her body. Her body was in a pond. The pond was, I believe it was behind a landscape company or something along those lines. They haven't, that I know of, they haven't been able to release a cause of death. They are investigating into this to see, you know, is foul play involved, or is this just a horrible accident, or what the case may be. But she was located deceased, and obviously our thoughts and prayers are with her family. It just, I'm having trouble understanding how somebody can go from breaking down on the highway to ending up in a pond behind a business like that.
Right.
Well, what, I mean, let's be honest. Almost everybody has a cell phone. Has there been any talk of her trying to reach out to somebody? I mean, yeah, she was an elderly lady. I would not take her to be out super late at night. I'm just curious because, I have not. Only thing I've seen is when the lady was found, unfortunately, deceased. But have you either of you heard of anything about her, about any speculations of anything? Because for one, where was her car?
11:30 p.m.
Do what now?
She was last seen around 11:30 p.m.
Okay.
Whoa.
So, I mean, I'm just kind of curious because most everybody has cell phones,
Right.
And why was her phone ever found? Was it found in the vehicle? Was it found on her when she was found? And she was found in a pond, correct?
Yes.
She was. And was there ever any mention of dementia or Alzheimer's, that she might be suffering for some of it? Because
Not that I am aware of, but they haven't released a whole lot of information yet either.
What one
that
is
I've been
this?
able to find.
Who is this again?
It is Janet Spoon.
Yeah, so that case truly seems kind of fishy. I mean, I have a hard time believing that her car, why did she not wait? Why did she not call somebody? Why did she not call the police?
Right.
Get a right call and say, "Hey, I'm broke down."
Because I
Why
know
did she not?
Megan's grandparents, they're both in their 80s and they both have cell phones.
Yeah. Why
They
didn't
don't
she?
like them, but they have them.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm just thinking of why didn't she call the number on the back of her insurance card if she had, towing?
Right.
So,
And Missy asked, "Are you going to be looking for Randy this spring and summer?" Without too much detail, we've had, I don't want to say a new angle, but information that we wasn't aware of that we've been able to uncover. And without a doubt, we're going to be looking for Randy this spring and summer. There's a couple things. If they go right, we may be out by the end of January in some places. So this one, we've got a direction again that we're moving, and we'll definitely be out on that.
hey, Dan, you remember what we were talking about before we went on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got messages.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You'll have to screenshot it and send it to our chat. I got to see this.
Okay.
I got to see who this is.
Okay.
And Missy, we'll have to do the FaceTime again that you mentioned a little bit back in the comments. We'll have to do a FaceTime and kind of go over that. So, guys, the next one, unfortunately, again, located deceased. This is Christian Haller, missing from Wichita, Kansas since July 29th of 23. And they did find remains near the Wichita airport. They believed it was him. They did do a DNA on the remains, and it did confirm that this was Christian. 30 years old. You know, he's still young, and thoughts and prayers definitely go out to his family. But this one, somebody had been out in the area and they called into law enforcement, said they believed they found remains. Law enforcement responded, and it did. So thankfully, he's been found. We just always wish for a different outcome.
Better outcome.
Now, for the question, the way to like these live streams, there's a thumb up and a thumb down button. It's not like TikTok where you just keep tapping the screen.
And OK Diver asks anything I can help with. We're definitely gonna get with you on some things, OK Diver. I believe there is definitely some things we could definitely use your help on.
Yeah.
This next one, and unfortunately, again, a young man located deceased. This is Jesse Herbst, missing from La Crosse, Kansas since June 16th. This is a 19-year-old man. And Jesse was found in a wrecked vehicle. The vehicle reportedly went in behind a bunch of cedar trees, and therefore it could not be seen from the road. And somebody not that long ago happened to go through there and find the vehicle. They called law enforcement and said there's a wrecked vehicle out here behind the cedar trees. Law enforcement got there, and Jesse was still in the vehicle. And thoughts and prayers definitely go out to this family. Jesse was autistic, and there was a fear that he could be a danger to himself. But turns out, it was an unfortunate accident. I'm sure that is still being investigated because this was recent. Don says I can't read that. It's too small. We have most of these flyers over on our Facebook page that are full-blown sized. I'm not computer savvy like Dan is. So I haven't figured out how to get these blown up on here yet. The next one, I'm sure most of you guys know about. I know AWP, Chaos Divers, Adventuring the Ozarks. A lot of these guys were down in the Camden, Missouri area searching for Donald Irwin. There was a tip that come into, I believe it was a volunteer firefighter, but the name that come out was Echo Divers. They flew a drone over a property, seen something in a pond. They went and dove it. It ended up being Donald's car. And they went back at a later date as Donald was not in the vehicle. And they dove the pond again. And I believe it was Christmas Eve morning. They announced that they did recover Donald from that same pond. So I know a lot of people put a lot of work into helping bring him home. Thankfully, it all paid off.
That's a really old case.
Right. He went missing December 29th of 2013. and was found this month, and 10 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, the family has answers. One of his relatives posted on their Facebook page that it was the worst Christmas ever, but the best Christmas ever because they finally have answers.
Yeah.
Very thankful he was found.
Finally have closure.
And that's the key thing. We tell every family member, never give up until you know 100% you got the answers you need. Because look at that, 10 years. There was another kid that remains were found in Virginia of a 5-year-old child. And it was almost, 20, 30 years ago?
I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
Hang on.
Seeing like Donald was found within 5 miles of his house.
Okay, hang on. He disappeared in 2003. A 5-year-old boy. Let's see. Logan Bowman out of Carroll County, Virginia. And he was just found. 20 years. Almost 24 years.
Wow.
I mean, you know, in the you know, some of these cases right here, and this is not to get off track, but this basically tells you that, you know, just because somebody's gone, you still can never give up hope. You know, that this child's remains were found after all this time. You know, these you know, some of these cases, we have one that we just discussed. You know, we have one coming up where somebody was found in their vehicle from a wreck. You know, so, you know, and both of these situations either could have been seen or could have not been seen. But, you know, I know when we go back to Randy Leach's case, and we always talk about all the scenarios and all the different, you know, possible ways. Because, I mean, we can be honest. Randy Leach's case is probably one of the most. It's probably one of the cases that has so many rumors and accusations that, you know, and like we know, there's only one truth, and everything else is a lie, or just complete hogwash stories, you know. But yeah, I mean, people can be found in their cars, you know, that crash through the trees into the woods, and they've been sitting there. And, you know, when we always talked about trying to, you know, buy the Dodge 600 car and recreate some of these situations, you know, could someone sit in their car for years and years? And the young man that we had just discussed, how long, the one just before, how long had he been in his car from the time he went missing till he was found?
Donald Irwin?
No, not Donald. The one.
Wreck?
Yes. I mean, we know Donald was, you know,
June 16th of 2023 is when he was reported missing. And he was last seen at the Casey's convenience store on that date and wasn't seen after that.
So hypothetically, 5-6 months, this child's been gone, you know, and this whole time, you know, nobody did they just notice it when fall happened and all the trees started changing and everything? Because that's one of the things that I always question is, you know, if somebody runs off the side of the road and takes out trees, in my mind, I would think that people would notice it. I mean, how many times have you guys drove down a road and you're like, oh, look, that tree fell,
Right.
and that out of your whatever you call uncognability of looking at things, but you're not, that tree was always standing until the day you drove past it, and fell down. So, it's just one of those things is, how come people don't see people when they crash right off the edge of the road? How come they don't notice there's a big wide gaping hole in the middle of the side of the road where all these trees have been knocked down all of a sudden? So
inconsistencies of the landscape. If it looks different, check it out.
that's a good point.
Seeing with this one, he was behind a bunch of cedar trees. So that does make it possible that, those branches can be kind of flimsy anyway if they're bigger trees. Could those branches have come back out into place? Did he hit those just right to drive in between them and not break anything? I mean,
you're true.
That would be almost a miracle to do that, but
right.
Yeah. So I guess I don't mean to go back on a case, but so what was that young man, was it a wreck or was it suicide?
Yeah, his vehicle was wrecked and stopped behind the cedar trees.
Okay. He crashed through the trees. He didn't pull off a road and drive up somewhere and unfortunately end his life. Just curious.
When I saw that, it stated he was autistic and maybe a danger to himself, I had that same thought, was it a wreck or was it something like this? But it was, he wrecked his vehicle. Still not a easy outcome for the family, but a better outcome than it could have been.
It's closure. It's not the closure they want, but it's closure.
Yeah. No more worrying and guessing.
Now, this next one, unfortunately, what you were alluding to is the case in this one. Andrew Mullen, 18-year-old, missing from Liberty, Missouri since November 27th. He has been located deceased. I jumped ahead one.
There you go.
And Andrew Mullen, it was ruled apparent suicide as the cause of death. When the flyer come out that he was missing, the flyers did state that the family was concerned about his mental health. And unfortunately, this was the outcome in his case. And 18 years old, when we're 18, we think we're adults and we have it all figured out. Looking back on it now, 18-year-old, we didn't know anything. And we're seeing a lot of people in this age group that's being found deceased. And it's just troubling.
Yeah. And that brings up one of your topics for later, mental health.
Right.
It plays a big problem in missing people.
It is. And we got two more that fit that same topic. And I'm going to jump into these real quick. Let's see if I pull up the right one this time. First, we had Jerry Adams, who went missing from Lawrence, Kansas on December 11th, 73 years old. He's diabetic and had a heart condition. And I do want to back up on the mental health on this one. I haven't seen where that would be an issue here. but Jerry was located deceased inside of his van. And then we have Bert Torrey, who went missing from Liberty, Missouri on December 5th, 81 years old. And he had dementia and had left home without his medication. He was found outside of his vehicle in Richmond, Missouri, and law enforcement has confirmed that there were no signs of foul play.
All right, before we move on, silver alerts. I've been speaking about this day in, day out, months at a time. They need to start going out to devices, because if silver alerts actually went out to devices, these types of people, they have a better chance of being found before something tragic happens.
That's true.
And they don't.
What would have to be done, Dan, do you think, in your opinion, to get silver alerts, to start getting them advertised? I mean, what?
Well, right now, Wisconsin's working on changing the Amber Alert requirements in their state. The best thing anybody can do is start writing to your government officials, whether it be senators, House of Representative officials, your mayor, your governor, and tell them you want to see an enact and change where the way alerts go out, especially silver alerts, amber alerts, missing and endangered alerts, golden alerts. All of these alerts have something to do with something that could be life threatening.
Yeah.
And when you got alerts like that, why aren't they being put out into devices? Yes, I understand Amber Alerts go out to devices, but they only go out to the state that they're issued in. But like a Silver Alert, a Camo Alert for veterans, Golden Alerts, Missing and Endangered Alerts, all them alerts should be going out to devices.
Yeah.
Not just to law enforcement.
I agree. I think I honestly don't know why we don't have silver alerts. I mean, going out.
If you don't follow certain states on the, if you basically got to follow these states on social media to be able to even know there's a silver alert out.
Yeah.
And some of the law enforcement agencies don't even post the silver alerts on their social media. Now, surprisingly, Tennessee's really good about posting silver alerts on their social media. TBI is. But a lot of states don't.
That's sad. I mean, I guess maybe some states look at it as like, well, we do children. Well, if we do old elderly people as a silver alert, then you're going to have all the people saying that every person that goes missing should have an alert. Maybe that's why they don't do it, because they think they can't. They would be so overrun because.
I did a quiz or a poll in my live stream on how many people would rather have thousands of alerts a day than have somebody missing. Do you know that not one of them said they would rather have somebody missing?
Man, that's interesting. I guess we need to do an episode then where we need to do all the states and who to contact. You know, get the numbers of the offices, you know, the governors, the senators' offices, and maybe that's another show we need to do and share that information for people to, hey, if you want to speak out on behalf of this, here's who you call. Help us out, you know. So, because if you just help save one person, all your, you know, everything you did, it was all worth it.
See, Dan, this next one is along those same lines, and you are very familiar with this one. This one was just the other day. 3-year-old Angie Redondi and her mother Norma, and they were abducted in Maine, put into an SUV. The vehicle then went into New York. Dan was doing an extensive live feed over on TikTok covering this during this time. And you done incredible over there, first off, Dan. And your contact with law enforcement from both Maine and New York, figuring out why it took so long for an Amber Alert to be issued in Maine and why it wasn't issued in New York, especially once they crossed in until several hours later. And thankfully,
that's where the problem is. The Amber Alert in Maine didn't even go out until way after that they were already in New York. 4 hours after they were already crossed through New York toll booth.
See, and they knew that they crossed too when they put the alert out.
They already knew at 3:41 p.m. that day that they were already in New York, but they did not enact an Amber Alert in New York. They enacted it only in Maine. You would figure if they've already seen them crossing into New York State through a camera on a toll, why was there no alert? So, yes, I consider myself a a-hole for what I did, but it needed to be done. When I called Maine and they said that they gave all the information to New York so they can enact the Amber Alert. And then when I called New York said they didn't get no information from Maine to enact an Amber Alert. So who was telling the truth and who was lying? Who was covering their own you-know-what?
Yeah.
Seeing the ball got dropped on both states there. I mean, thankfully they were both found safe at the end of the day, but they could have been found so much quicker and eliminated that threat of this going south.
They could have eliminated that threat as soon as the call came in that they were forced into a vehicle. That is the primary requirement for an Amber Alert, is known abduction. There ain't no more known abduction than someone being forced into a vehicle. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, so we can't go to New York or Maine for a little while, guys. I don't think they like me much anymore.
And Dan done those phone calls while he was live on TikTok, and you clearly heard Dan's side of this conversation. If you haven't seen it, go over to TikTok and Missing in USA and check out that live feed. Is, Dan said that he may have been an a-hole for doing that. I don't believe he was. And Dan was stern with them, but he wasn't over the top. And I think he done the right thing.
Yeah.
Because something's got to change with that.
That was completely unacceptable. I mean, you issue the alert in the state that you already know they're not in. 6 hours after they were already in New York.
Now, did New York ever enact an Amber Alert?
Nope.
It's just terrible. Wow. It's terrible that so many people are dropping the bombs, dropping the balls, somewhere, some way, somehow, and I'm sure, not having enough people for the right task force or you know, something. But how do these mistakes just keep happening day in and day out? You know,
It's just it's a regular occurrence. Right now, I've been keeping track of what state every time an Amber Alert goes out, what state handles it properly and quick. And so far, there's two states or two cities that are handling it amazingly. Hang on, let me find it. Um, I'm sure if you ask in the chat, they'll tell you which states they are, the ones that are on my TikTok. One city's out of Kentucky and one city's out of Texas. Okay, Laredo, Texas, less than 2 hours from start to finish. Kentucky, State Police, less than an hour.
wow.
So then
Now,
you got multiple states that it's multiple hours.
Like Houston, Texas, where Ian Aguilar was abducted from after his mother was murdered by his father. 14 hours before that alert went out. Then we go to Jerry Best and Zeke Best, the guy in Idaho that murdered his little baby child and his wife and their unborn child. Over 8 hours before that was.
It's just sad.
When you can get out of a state in less than 6 hours, any state in the country, why they wait so long, I'll never know. Yeah, I put you all on the spot. See how well y'all pay attention. Caroline did good. She knew Laredo, Texas.
Do you think these people, these agencies, do you think they drag stuff out because they get a call from some person, whether it's the other parent, it is, some way? Do you think they go to the house, they check, oh, well, nobody didn't answer, well, we'll wait a little bit to see if they come home? Do you think they do all this stuff to make sure so they don't do it and it backfires on their behalf? I mean, what do you think some of the reasoning is why they drag butt for so long before they actually move forward with doing it? Because
the requirement,
and has probably different requirements, I assume.
Yeah, it's the requirements. No, they're all required the same requirements.
Yeah.
They have to know that it's an abduction. They have to know that there's a vehicle involved. They prefer to have the description of the suspect in the vehicle. They don't always get that, as we've seen with the main one. They didn't have no license plate or nothing. But the number one requirement is a known abduction. But we'll go to the two murder cases. Ian Aguilar. They knew the mother was murdered. They got a disturbance call to that address within 30 minutes. Yeah. And they knew Ian was gone. That should have been an Amber Alert right there. Baby Zeke, Jeremy Best. They arrived on the scene. The mom was dead. The unborn child, they didn't know, and she was pregnant until after the fact. But I had the family in my live stream. And same thing. They waited so long. We'll go to what's her name? Gonzalez out of California. She was abducted by a known predator. He had criminal charges for being a predator. And they took 12 hours to issue that Amber Alert.
Yeah.
Now, she was located safe and he's in custody, correct?
Yeah, hang on.
Wayne Gonzalez.
We'll get into that one because this is the rewarding part of this. Yes, he is in custody, but unfortunately, he could not make it to court. Some of the cellmates had a little bit of fun with him, if you know what I mean.
Uh-oh. Awesome.
See, I can't mention that stuff on TikTok. I'll get in trouble. He became Bubba's best friend. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, boy. That's pretty good. He had a nice introduction into...
And that's just county jail.
Man.
Wait till he hits the prison.
Man.
Oh, and like Ariel and Choice. We'll go into that one, the one that was just recently closed. They knew that there was an abduction because the husband got stabbed by the wife. And they wait 8 hours later to issue the Amber Alert.
Wow.
Dan, do you think changes will ever happen though? I mean, if
we can get Wisconsin to really pass this bill that a senator is trying to push to change the requirements for Amber Alerts, I would hope other states would follow suit. I really would. Wisconsin's working on it. Hey, Pearl.
So this comes back to everybody needs to be writing the representatives and calling the representatives and pushing for this in their states.
And no matter what side of the aisle you vote for, it does not matter. Write your senators. Write your mayors, your governors.
Yeah. I think that's what we need to do. I think we need to, put it out there and challenge everybody to write a letter. We'll get through here one day, one of these, weeks when we can sit down and we'll go through all the states and we'll get all the phone numbers and addresses and we'll try to put it on a video, a slow running video that will run 2 hours in alphabetical order so everybody knows where to go and who to call to help get some traction in this situation, because this is in our group. This is Dan's work. This is what I believe Dan works the hardest on. So I think we should do that, and we should try to help support Dan with all his work and what he's doing with this, and get this information provided and get it out there and challenge everybody. Hey, write a letter, do something.
When we do that, I'll go a step further and we could announce the details when we do this. But if people can show us that they made the phone call or an email or they wrote a letter to the representatives about this, we will put their name in a giveaway and we will give away a really good prize.
There you go.
We draw out of that.
There you go. That sounds like a good idea.
We got to push this for changes because this is just ridiculous.
It is. It's unacceptable.
And the system itself is good. It's just the protocols that they use to enact it that's flawed. The system could save a lot of lives itself. It just needs to be ran better.
And see, that's another thing. I was talking with my agency on TikTok. I wanted to do a live stream promoting donations to National Missing and Exploited Children's, where the TikTok puts the link directly to their donation page up in my live stream.
Yeah.
And instead of people gifting me, they just hit the donate button and it donates to them. Because I feel that if they had more resources at that agency, things might be able to change.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think we should do that. I think we should, everybody should do whatever we can to help support Dan in this. Like I said, this is everything that Dan does, but I believe this is, Dan's biggest fight in his channel, what he tries to help do and prove, and to get people to help find these people as soon as Dan hears of on it on TikTok, he's got it out there, he's got the information going, and I think we should try to help support him and with what he's trying to get, because it is heartbreaking that some of these places do not get this going in a poor timely fashion,
It's unreal.
and definitely move forward with trying to push the silver alert stuff, and for what it is, everybody, there should be alerts every day when somebody goes missing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure, in a lot of cities, there's people that go missing on a constant daily basis.
Uh-oh.
Boss man's gone.
As long as it keeps running.
It's running. Maybe he had pizza rolls in the oven.
Megan hit him over the head with a frying pan.
Yeah. Oh, Megan might have done that. Kids might have took him out. So, but yeah, I would. Now, didn't I think we were talking at one time, but something we can talk about till he comes back. Up there he is, but we're going to talk about it anyways. Statistically, what is right now in the United States? What's the daily average for Amber Alerts? I mean, do we have one every day?
It varies. I mean, I've had an upwards of 4 a week.
Yeah.
2 a day, even. Like, what was it? The main one. I had Maine and Ohio, both activated.
Yeah.
There's days that there's none, which today there was none, other than Keyshawn Williams, which I do need to get his out there because he's been missing since June. But they need to, the National Missing and Exploited Children's Database needs to put the correct information on there, because there are 2 Keyshawn Williams missing out of Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I called them because he disappeared off the Amber Alert database, and I called Cleveland Police Department. I asked them, I was like, was Keyshawn Williams found? He's no longer listed as an Amber Alert. And they're like, not to our knowledge. So I called National Missing and Exploited Children's Services, and they knew nothing about him being removed. So I told him, I was like, type in his name and then click on it, and it'll say info not found. So they found out that it was a glitch in the server, and they were able to fix it and get him back up there, but they don't have his name spelt right.
Oh, wow.
I know the name doesn't really mean nothing except for people like us when we have to go calling law enforcement and have to know how to spell the person's name. But yeah, his name's not spelt right on there.
So I got a question for you on this one. So how long does a Amber Alert stay as an Amber Alert before it is switched to a missing persons status?
It stays as an Amber Alert until they're found.
So if somebody was abducted and then they're never found, stay as an Amber, never gets turned into just a missing persons case.
No, it goes into they have another folder on there for basically cold case Amber Alerts, what you're talking about, that still haven't been found, like Summer Wells and all that. They're still active Amber Alerts. They're just not on the main screen of the active recent alerts.
Okay, so I'm curious now. So does Kansas, I mean, because up here where Dennis and I are at, I know differently from where you're at, but at least in Kansas or Missouri, is there an active, because I've never seen nothing on the KBI site or the Missouri site. So I take it there is no active cold case Amber Alerts that have never been
in Missouri.
Well, either one, because I mean, I've never seen anything where there's a
National Missing and Exploited Children. National Missing and Exploited Children.
I'm just curious.
The only place you'll find any type of Amber Alert is on the National Missing and Exploited. Okay, so when you I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me turn off my ring light. Get the glare out of it. No, you can't. Okay, when you go into their website, still missing.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, see the still missing right here?
Yeah.
That's active Amber Alert still. You click on it, but these are cold Amber Alerts. There are, you can't see them all, but there's, I want to say at least 30.
Huh. Interesting.
And you talking about, let's see, we got Arizona, California, Connecticut, Washington, D.C., Florida, Michigan, Missouri. You got 2 for Missouri. Lisa Irwin and Bianca Piper. And 3. There's Christian Ferguson. Tennessee, New Jersey, Mississippi, Texas, Utah, and Washington. And these are cold. I'm talking 2011, 2018, 2006. Stuff like that. They're still active Amber Alerts. They're just not put on the main page, which I don't know why they do that. Because not a lot of people know to click that button to see
the
other alerts. It won't be long till Keyshawn's moved over there.
Wow. Well, that's really, I think a lot of the system needs to have some type of reform.
Yep.
At this point, I mean.
Hey, Ponytail.
I mean, because it just sounds like there's just so much, versus it seems like there's more issues in the alert world than there is just in the missing persons world. That, oh, Jim Bob didn't come home last night. Well, it's been 24 hours and now we move forward with it, versus that. So,
and here, I'm glad you said 24 hours. There's been a big, huge misconception on the time frame that you are required to report a person missing. There is no law that states you have to wait 24 hours. None. Not nowhere in the country.
I thought in Kansas it had to be 24 hours that someone didn't come home, and then they could actually do
Nope.
it.
They tell you that, but it's not. It's not facts. It's not law.
It's not law. Huh. Interesting. Well, I definitely at our next city council meeting, because I attend the city council meetings. We have a representative from Platte County, Missouri, that always attends our meetings because he gives. I'm just curious. I want to hear out of him what I'm going to ask him what the protocol is on a missing persons case.
Now, I'll send you the information. That way you go in there armed so you can call him out when he's lying to you.
Okay. Okay. I'm down for it. So I'm really curious because at least in Kansas, I always thought that, there was a 24-hour period, but
nope.
So that's it.
Didn't they make the Leach family wait 24 hours to do an official report on Randy being missing?
I don't know if that's it or not. I really don't. I just remember hearing it. And, like I said, my uncle was on the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department. I have friends that used to be on Kansas City Police Department and also Prairie Village, Kansas Police Department. So I definitely want to ask them. I want to, I would like to know what their protocol is, what they know, what they're supposed to do if they get that call. I'm curious to see because
we all know what their first reasoning for an adult is because we found that out with Kathy. She's an adult. She can leave on her own.
Yeah. That is very true. That is very true. And that's definitely a lot of stuff we need to talk about that case when we get to that one.
Yes. So, in fact, let's go ahead and jump to that real quick. Kathy Anderson, she went missing from Aberdeen, South Dakota on December 15th. And her vehicle ended up being found on I-29, not far from where Alex lives. And thankfully, she was found safe. She did turn up at a relative's home in Florida. And Alex, if you guys remember, if you saw his live feed, Alex and Tammy left their home about midnight one night and was out till about 3 a.m., literally driving and looking for her, going to motels, going to the airport, going to the Waffle House, where Waffle House, a waitress ended up saying that she seen her there.
Yes. And that whole story has gone, the Waffle House side of that story. It's mind blowing. So, Tammy, that night that all that happened, Tammy and that girl, became friends on Facebook. And, that following day, we were supposed to get access to the camera with the manager. And then we found out that Kathy's husband, he was in town. And he was actually 2 motels over from the Waffle House staying while we were at Waffle House trying to talk to him. But we ended up meeting up with Kathy's husband at the Waffle House the next day, and the manager called in sick. So we spoke with the other people that were in charge during the day, and the guy, there was a young man, and he sat with us and talked, and he told us, he says, I don't know how to get into the camera system and look. Kathy, we wanted to look. Kathy's husband wanted to look because we were trying to get some verification if it truly was her. And unfortunately, it didn't work out that day. And then later that night, the girl that Tammy had spoke to, she was going to be back on shift. And Kathy's husband was going to come back that night. And we were going to try to talk to this girl. And basically Tammy messaged her to let her know that the manager wasn't there, that we didn't get to view it. Well, that girl never reached back out to Tammy. And that night, John went there. John is Kathy's husband. And they would not let him see the video footage. They said it had to have a court order and go through corporate. And so the next day, John, the husband, he had went there with the cops, with law enforcement. They still would not let law enforcement or him see the video footage. And then at some point later on in that day, or no, it was the next day, I believe. It was the next day, I think. A cop, I'm not sure which one it was. But anyways, law enforcement reached out to John and said that they had viewed the footage and it was not Kathy. So, of course, me thinking, well, I would think that you would want the husband there or the person who had seen the pictures, because this girl seemed pretty sure that it was Kathy. I mean, she just seemed straightforward. Yes, it was Kathy. She come in here. We think she was with a man and two other women, but the girl says yes. Even this girl explained everything, how this lady acted. And when we discussed it with, the husband, he was like, that's my wife, blah, 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 blah. So needless to say, the cop just said, well, it wasn't her. And I have a hard time understanding. And I really wanted, I was hoping that girl would have reached out to Tammy and told Tammy that, yeah, the cops asked me to look at it, because how did the cop know exactly where to look on the video and what night it was? Because the girl honestly could not remember which night it was that this lady that came in that she thought was Kathy, after she looked at all the pictures on Tammy's phone. And we had, I don't know, 5 or 6 pictures of Kathy on Tammy's phone. So I was just confused. I mean, I was really confused, bewildered of the whole situation, because I would have thought they would have wanted her husband to look at the video footage and let him be the one.
That's weird. My camera went off.
Really? Must be your ghost.
I was trying to figure out what it was.
So, in the end of the story was how did they go off of the one picture that they had versus, all the pictures? And then how in the world did all of a sudden the cops show up the next day and he got to see the video footage when there was no court order done yet? It was just an odd situation how it kind of happened. But yes, eventually she ended up in Florida. That happened, but I don't know, Dennis, if you want me to go into some of the stuff that I encountered, trying to look for her on Facebook.
That I'm going to leave that up to you.
Okay. So the whole situation, it was kind of crazy with her case, how it kind of started and then how it went into what was going on. So Dearborn is the next town north of Tammy and I, basically. Kathy had abandoned her car somewhere near the Dearborn exit. And when all this stuff started happening, and I'm not going to go into all the details of everything, but basically the husband had, they had posted on the Dearborn, Missouri Facebook page that, she was missing. Well, when you first looked at the post, it kind of made me think that they were separated or they were divorced, and she was living down here, because all these people were posting that, oh, we love Miss Kathy. She's a wonderful teacher. So it appeared that maybe she was divorced or she was separated and she had got a job down here and she was living down here and she was teaching school, because all these people were commenting. Well, in the end, we had found out that the Dearborn Facebook page didn't have like any type of I forgot what it's called. You could just join it and sign up and start doing whatever. So all these people from South Dakota were joining this page and commenting. So it really made you think that it was other people that lived up here by us. So it was very confusing. So there was a lot of people saying, well, how do you know she doesn't want to be found? How do you know this? How do you know that? So when we were working through everything, I was putting our information out and we started getting some really good leads on stuff that was happening. And once I was getting these leads at night, I started going on all the swap and shop pages, all the little town pages around here. And I was posting, Kathy's flyer, her stuff, the information, and I was posting our stuff. And this is the first time I have ever had so much negativity happen of people, saying, well, why would I hand her over to you? Just somebody on Facebook. I would hand her over to the police. And I got a lot of stuff that was basically domestic abuse situations. And I had a really nasty argument with a lady on Facebook, and it was really nasty. And this lady, and I would assume the way she was acting, she had probably been through domestic abuse. But I just don't understand how people can be so hateful and so nasty to somebody when people are trying to help find somebody. Because I have never, ever, anytime I have shared flyers, pictures, I have never had nobody, well, how do you know she doesn't want to be found? Well, how do you know her husband's not beating her? Well, how do you know this? How do you know this? And I'm like, I don't. I'm just trying to help locate her, whether it's for the police or for the family. And if we do locate her and her wishes are not to be found, then we would suggest that you call the police and let the police know that this is my situation, whether it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever. I don't want to go home. I don't want to be found. Well, please call the police and let them know. So you have all these other people out here who are trying to help people and help find you, don't have to encounter such hateful, nasty, rude. I mean, I truly have never experienced that before.
Join my live stream. You'll experience all every day.
And I don't see why, and well, I don't know you from, a piece of grass in my yard. Why would I turn somebody's life over and put them in your control? And I'm like, you don't have to do that. You can call, on the front of the flyer was the Platte County, because Platte County was the overseeing jurisdiction down here, and then Brown County up in South Dakota. And I'm like, you can call either one of these two places and tell them if you know where she's at. I just include our stuff in there, you know. And it was just, it was very it was sad. It was sad that so many people could be so heartless in the way they acted, in their actions, on how they talk to people. Because I know we can use the term keyboard warriors and, you know, blah, but I just don't really get why so many people had to be so nasty, you know. And why is it that when a woman goes missing, the majority of the people assume that they are always a domestic abuse situation, you know? And we honestly do not know the reason why Kathy left. We don't have a clue, you know? Because until that day, if we were ever able to discuss things with her, or, you know, if the family ever discussed with us in any type of details, I mean, you know, we would never know why she did what she did. But for the simple fact is why does all of a sudden these people thought that way? And I've never ever had a situation where any missing persons flyer that we've shared, I've never had so much negative backlash for some reason.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you say a relative of hers that was putting her flyer on social media ended up basically having to stop monitoring social media because of the negative comments?
John told me that, the husband. You know, and when Tammy and I sat with John, the husband, you know, he was telling us, you know, I would never beat my wife. I didn't do this. I don't know why people are thinking this. The man is sitting here crying with Tammy, and, you know, and Tammy's praying with him, and you know, just this whole thing. And he told me, he says, I had to stop looking at Facebook because of the things that people were saying. And he said, I've never ever done that. I've never, you know.
Now, I probably got an idea of why everybody goes down that rabbit hole first. Is because the statistics show that more likely than not, when somebody goes missing that is a spouse, a family member, the first place everybody looks at is the spouse or the family.
Yeah. But, and I get that. I totally do. But example, some of our cases that we went over earlier, the elderly lady that her car broke down, she got up, started walking, ended up in a pond. Was her husband beating her? Did anybody have any type of backlash from sharing that woman's flyer?
Oh, I don't know.
And right. I would be curious with Ricky, if Ricky from, you know, Kansas, you know, that does the flyers and stuff, how many times has Ricky ever encountered that type of backlash on the flyers? You know,
that's a good question.
I would like to have Ricky on next time. We can get Ricky on with us. That's a conversation I'd like to have with him. Is Ricky, how many times have you dealt with people when you tried sharing flyers, you know, on all of your social media? Women, how many times do you have backlash? Well, how do you know they don't want to be found? Oh, their husband probably beat them, you know. And it's odd, because how many times have we ever seen a guy that's missing and somebody got on there and said, oh, well, I bet his wife beats him, you know. And I know this is a touchy subject, but why do people act the way they do a certain way and do that? That blows my mind, how people can just, you know, and I've said it before too. If you're on the run, and you're on the run because you don't want to be at home, you don't want to be in the relationship you're in, my personal thoughts are, call the police and let them know you are fine.
Yep.
Do not waste people's time, because you should know that there's going to be people looking for you. There's going to be people out there, and this is nothing against me or anybody else. I am just saying in general. If you don't want to be found and you're on the run and you want to, or you're leaving, you don't have to be on the run. You've just left your situation to better yourself and your life. But if you think that you might be a case that somebody's reported you missing because you have left and not told anybody, please call the police. Let them know you're not missing, that you just don't want to be in the situation that you were. You're moving forward to better yourself. And please take me off the missing persons list, because I don't want people out there spending time and money looking for someone when they could be looking for somebody else that truly is missing. You know,
That's like, we'll jump off Kathy, for example. Same scenario. David Anderson, missing out of Iowa. He didn't want to be found. He was trying to get away from his wife, but he was also running from warrants.
Yeah.
He finally got found in Missouri. He is in jail, but he had everybody looking for him. He had not only law enforcement, the family, everything. And he even had, I had messages from his wife 5, 6, 7 times a day on my social media. I think he's deceased. And I tell her every time, don't give up until you know. Until they find remains, he's still alive. Period. That's the worst thing to do, is give up. And yeah, he was found.
Yeah.
Safe.
Well, it's just crazy, because I had talked to quite a few people from South Dakota, people that actually reached out to us, you know, and, you know, these people truly loved Kathy, liked her. They thought the world of her, you know, and, you know, it was hard. It was a hard one, because, you know, I told them, I said, man, I'm not going to lie. We had 2 leads that came in the night, and I said, we literally, Tammy and I mean, we were all in this together, and we got in the car in the middle of the night and went to the airport, because she was dropped off at the airport, you know, and we were out looking and looking. But, you know, I had all these people that were texting me and calling me. Well, what's the update? How, you know, have you found her? What's this? What's that? And, you know, it was an incredible situation to have been in, you know, trying to help find her. I have not talked to the husband since the day she was found. You know, that she showed up in Florida. I would like to talk to him. I, you know, just to check on him, you know, all this and that, but I would love to have some type of answers just for us as a search team to know, you know, this and this and that, so we can understand it, you know. And I know that night that Tammy and I was out and we were going to the motels, and I'm sure a lot of people were like, this is boring, you know. And I was so tired, and Tammy was tired, but we couldn't give up, you know. But, you know, I was talking 20 minutes while Tammy was inside, and I just would stop talking because I didn't know what to say. I'd run out of things to talk about, you know. But it is a lot of work. And you know, it's a lot of work when we have our conversations and we're going over a case and stuff starts pouring in, and it's a lot of work when you get out in the vehicle and you go try to find these people, you know, and you're literally, we were looking, you know, Tammy was driving and I was looking behind trees, under trees, the sides of buildings, in between the rows of cars at the car rental places. I mean, that was a crazy night. It really was. And if you all remember, like I said, the husband was 2 motels away from where we were at, and he was in one of the last ones that we checked. It was so crazy. I never would have thought that he was in the motel that we were at, and here we are outside trying to find his wife and help him, So,
There's a lot of things I would still like to know the answers to. One,
yeah,
did she really hitchhike to Florida? Because the
yeah,
sister says she has no idea how she got there. But
yeah,
I'd
yeah,
like to know why,
yeah,
just for future cases.
yeah, because believe it or not, every time we have another case we can talk about, and I'm sure we will. But, every case that we have some type of answers, whether it's closure because the person was found alive, the person was found deceased. I mean, this is all stuff that you have to look at and kind of study and think about, and, because you have to know, you have to have these pieces of information somehow, some way, so we can, the next case that comes, we can already think in our heads, okay, well, we've had this happen in the past. Let's look at it from this way. Oh, we had this case go this way one time. This looks similar. Let's go down this path. So it is. It's so much. So much. And, I wish we could always have all the answers from every case that, a person is found, but it doesn't always work out that way.
See, in Kathy's case, we spent a lot of time between group calls and FaceTime discussing this. Every theory that was thrown out on social media, we discussed that as a team, going through trying to break this down to figure out the best route to go on this and what most likely took place. And the difference between doing that and the social media thing is we kept our discussions private within the team. We're not out there accusing anybody. We're just having the discussion amongst ourselves. Could this be a situation with this case? And it's the ones that's going out on social media and publicly making all of these accusations. And many of these people didn't even know the family, never heard of them before, and are coming out making those accusations like that.
Yeah.
And that does hinder investigations by
Big time.
putting false allegations out.
Big time. And that's, I tell everybody that jumps in my live stream all the time about, and we'll go to Suzanne Soto, the case out of Texas. There has been more speculation and false accusations going on in that case than I have seen in any case I have ever looked at. Ever. Their Facebook page has almost 200,000 people in it, and all you see is false information and false information. And I tell these people all the time, we can only go by what law enforcement releases publicly. We can't go speculating, saying this or that out into the public.
Yeah.
Now, we can have our discussions in private as to what we think might have happened, but to go out and plain out accuse people of doing certain things in a public realm is wrong on many levels. I mean, so wrong.
Yeah.
So, guys, I do have one more case I kind of want to jump on real quick. And this one, there is some stuff still going on, so I don't want to go too far into it because I don't want to hinder the efforts of the family. But Cody Sinisteros was missing from Dodge City, Kansas since November 24th. And here recently, he was recovered. He was found deceased. I don't know if they've come out officially, but the preliminary investigation was he wrecked his vehicle. He was going down the road. It comes to a T. He goes into a field. He allegedly drives a quarter of a mile in a straight line through the field, hits a pile of basically broken asphalt pieces. His vehicle goes airborne. It rolls more than one time. And with the tall grass and the other mounds of this blacktop basically in that field, the vehicle cannot be seen from the road. His services were actually earlier today, and our thoughts and prayers are still with the family. I've been in contact with his mother several times before and after he was found. I could tell you my opinion of his mother. If this was a horrible accident, I honestly believe she could accept that because she wants closure and to move on. The whole family does. But there are a lot of things in this case still that, in all honesty, just isn't adding up. His mother feels that there's a lot more to this, and I agree with her on this. As a search and recovery team, we are limited on what we are able to do when it comes to the rest of this, but we have made it clear with the family, we're here and we'll do everything we can to help her get answers. But this is just another sad case. His mom did get to see drone footage from the Kansas Highway Patrol that showed where he went into the field, across where he hit the mound. It showed the vehicle. Conflicting reports from law enforcement. You have one saying he was wearing his lap belt, but the shoulder part of the belt was behind him. You have another agency saying that he wasn't wearing a seatbelt at all. His mom says that he always wore his seatbelt. Anybody in his vehicle, even her, he would make them buckle up before he would take off to drive anywhere. And just where he ended up, she has stated publicly she believes that Cody could have been chased that day. And the person that chased him, seen him go into this field, had this wreck, and basically just drove home like nothing happened. Is that a possibility? It is. Is it a fact? Not at this point, but it is possible. So we'll be doing what we can to help his family find answers. I will be reaching back out to his mom, but with his services today, I want her spending that time with family and close friends there and not focused on the rest of this. Hopefully, at least some of the healing process can begin. She did say Cody's siblings, he does have younger siblings, they are holding up good, being strong for her. But, again, 17 years old, another young adult or almost adult, that life is gone. We're seeing way too much of this.
Yeah.
Like I was telling everybody else, this year alone, the amount of missing people across the country has increased around 320%. Just this year alone. Whether it be what they call runaways, I don't use that term, but runaways, missing and endangered, elderly, young adults, over a 300% increase. I don't see how they don't see it as a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Seeing Alex and I were talking about that a night or two ago, and we were talking about how there's so many people being found across the board right now. And, why is this happening that so many's being found all at once? Then we got into the uptick. And when you have, 320% uptick, you're going to find more people. I mean, the numbers are there. And I would rather it be the other direction, it be down 320%, but that's not the direction it's going.
No. No, it's
And
crazy.
And we were
have any
discussing.
of you guys seen a trend with ages? Is it a particular age group, or are you guys seeing if it's across the board?
The only trend that I noticed, because it is all across the board, but the only trend I noticed is we'll go dig down this one real quick. If you go on to NamUs and do each state one by one, they all tend to go missing near an interstate. And the northeastern part of the country, there's a line that goes all the way down Highway 81. Nowhere else but that line going down Highway 81. Whether it's trafficking, whether it's abductions, whether it's just runaways running away from group homes.
Yeah.
I did catch that trend, and it's pretty concerning that it went straight down an interstate.
Yeah. That's that gets you back down going into sex trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
Being right there by exits on highways, interstates that, there's just no telling. I mean, because it's one of those things where, like, when you look at it this way, so social media can be a blessing in so many ways, and social media can be so bad in so many ways, because, how many cases of kids go missing because of social media and who they get in contact with like that. But, if we didn't have social media outlets, we would never get the word out that people are missing.
Yeah, because news agencies don't do it.
No, not. And that's one thing that gets me is this is something that we have talked about so many times, is with this many people going missing, you would think that the news would be on all the time and be like, hey, talk to your kids. Talk to your kids. Let them know what's going on. They need to be aware. Always have your eyes wide open. Even the elderly people, there should be stuff where people should know that they need to be, hey, elderly people are going missing, dementia patients, Alzheimer's patients. How much of an increase has really happened, I don't know, because I haven't studied that. But if it's all across the board, then it must be. But, where's the sons and daughters of these elderly people? Why are they not playing a better part in their aging parents' roles and taking care of them and making sure that, they're not keeping a better eye on them and what's going on, like that.
And we'll jump right into social media. Like Be Beautiful was saying, social media works, but it does also hurt. There needs to be some sort of guideline that the government needs to enact to prevent adults from pretending to be children. So basically, in order to set up a social media account, you should have to give your photo ID as well as a live picture to prove who you say you are. And if you're a child, you shouldn't even be able to access it without a photo ID.
Yeah.
But like she was saying, I was mind blown how good social media worked when the girl went missing out of California. I never knew social media would target a area as well as it target that area in Brawley, California. I had the guy's ex-wife show up in my live stream and send me all the information she gave to the FBI.
Wow.
And that's where they found him at. Never have I ever got it to target that well. The child's mother-in-law was in my live stream. So it does have a way to target itself. It's just how? How do you target it better?
Yeah.
Like Choice's case, I was able to target Ohio.
See, that just comes down to all the people on social media, the people that follow your TikTok, the people that are here, keeping these cases in the public eye, pushing them, keeping them out there.
Yeah. As long as they don't get a bunch of negative backlash.
If there's any negative backlash, send it to Alex.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's why I got mods. When I get negative feedback in there, my mods know to play soccer.
Well, I wish I don't know. I don't know how to deal with it. I guess it'll just get better as time goes by, and how people can try to get people to understand, that we're just trying to help, help the person that's missing and help the family. And, unfortunately, we don't always know the complete story, the dynamics of the situation. Somebody's either sent us a flyer or the family has reached out to us and said, can you please help? So, but yeah, I didn't get that, man. That was just crazy when that stuff was happening, and I've been on Dan's lives, and I've seen when things start getting out of control, and the moderators, Dan makes some comments, the moderators take care of it, they catch it before Dan does, and it's not so bad, even though it's nasty, terrible things that they're saying. And is it just kids just trying to be funny and have a good time? More than
I think it is.
The Facebook, that's a different story. You don't have moderators, when you post stuff and try to help.
Nope, and that is a problem.
Yeah.
Well, actually, in groups, you do have administrators and moderators, but they don't always monitor the comments.
That is true. That is very true. So,
see, during a live stream, it's monitored in real time. Administrators, they have to go through after the fact, and by that time, it's a big zoo of comments.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So, Alex, getting these cases out, getting more exposure on these cases, hoping to bring leads and answers forward. You had an idea of something we can do this coming year to help bring attention to these cases.
I do. and I've thought about this for a long time. So this truck right here that's in the picture, I have this truck in my fleet of stuff now. So this summer I have been thinking that
Hey, Michael.
I've been thinking a lot that, getting out in the public's eye, spreading awareness, so on and so forth. So I remember that in some of our talks that Bobby Catfish has made comments about putting, missing person stuff on. We've talked about trucks, we've talked about the railroad, so on and so forth. So I had talked with Dennis, and I thought, well, you know what? I have another idea we can use the old box truck for. So on the back of it, the back roll-up door, I'm going to try and get a wrap done on the back door that has all of our information on it. So whenever, we're out driving the truck around doing things, it'll have stuff on the back of it. And then I also thought that we could start doing these public awareness events, meet and greet events, and we'll start getting some big banners made of missing people. And we can go. So one example is there's, quite a few cases in Leavenworth, Kansas, where Dennis is at. And I thought we could go set up at like the local Home Depot or, any public place that would let us, if we ask permission, that they would let us set up in a parking lot. And we can do like a public awareness meet and greet situation where we can hang, the banners on the side of the truck with magnets. So we can get, 4x4 banners made or 4x8 banners made of each case and hang them on the side of the truck with magnets. We can throw our pop-up tent out. We can hand out flyers. It's basically public awareness, meet and greet type situations, and moving forward with trying to get the word out on cases, because we all know not everybody's on social media by any means, but on a Saturday morning, get stuff set up, get the truck in a parking lot somewhere. We'll throw some chairs out. We'll have possibly a TV running, some of our stuff, or other, types of situations with flyers, like on a little USD, whatever they call them little thingies you put in the computer. But, working on moving forward with getting the word out. So, maybe once a month we work in Leavenworth and then we move to a different area. It's just a way of trying to spread, awareness and getting the word out about cases, about us, so on and so forth with it. So that is one of our goals to do this spring, is to start working on this stuff. A flash drive. There we go.
Well, hang on. We got to give Alex credit. He is a little seasoned. Back in his day, it was a floppy disk.
Yeah. Yeah. Or it was a Big Chief tablet.
Or a Rocket Stone.
But yes. So yeah, moving forward with just trying to get the word out, awareness, and also for people to with meeting up, working with law enforcement, putting equipment on display, the boat, the sonar on it, GPR when we acquire it. So, if we can move forward with doing these things and trying to get the word out, working with law enforcement. Dennis has really done really well with working with, some of the local counties in and around. We want to build on that. We have a lot of cases where we've been totally denied access to go on a piece of property and search. But, moving forward with trying to acquire the GPR unit this year, moving forward with that, practicing, learning how to do it. Because like I said, we have, I have land, I've had farm animals, I've had animals that have died. I know where they're buried. There was a school on my property back in the 1800s. I know where the foundation is to the school because I dug it up because I was bored one day with neighbor Chris. But, moving forward with learning how to use this, this tool, this instrument, I want us to know exactly what we need to do and how to use it. And hopefully through meeting law enforcement and having them show up and talk with us, that we can gain their trust where we might be able to say, hey, we have this piece of equipment. Let's try to get into this particular property. Let's go look. Let's do it. You guys don't have this in your tool bag, but we do. So let's try. Let's try to go check this property out let's go check this out. If we go check it out and we don't get anywhere with it, then, we can finally say, okay, we don't have to go here no more. We don't have to try to think that we need to go look in this yard or this field or, underneath this piece of concrete or asphalt, So, but I think public awareness, meet and greets, whether it's with, citizens or law enforcement, I think that would be a positive thing and a blessing with moving forward with all this.
And you mentioned GPR. Something that we recently uncovered on Randy Leach the other night that's pointing to a couple different properties. Without a doubt, GPR is going to be needed on those.
Oh, yeah.
Same with Crystal Kipper.
Right. In Crystal Kipper's case, we have reason to believe that where Crystal is, there could potentially be 20 plus other people.
Mm-hmm.
And the property needs GPR.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
too many things.
And that's Crystal Kipper's situation and that piece of property. Even with GPR, it is going to be a unbelievable task of doing those farm fields in the creek area. It's going to be a huge undertaking to do it, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it one of these days.
Right.
There's just so many cases, so many. We've talked about this 100 trillion times, but there is so many cases that I believe if GPR was a contributing factor, that these people would probably be found.
Mm-hmm.
I really do, and I hope we can do this, sooner than later.
Right.
And for those who don't know what GPR is, it's ground penetrating radar. It basically shows us what's underneath the ground.
Yes. It does. It shows distortions in land, depending on the object, or it shows if the ground has been disturbed by either digging it up and putting it back, something like that. So
right, and then it'll show a density changes in the ground as well.
Yes,
as well as like the Springfield 3 where they show inconsistencies in the walls.
Right.
Yeah.
And that one still gets me too, to have the density change and the sizes of these density changes to basically match the sizes of the missing people. I just don't understand why they haven't moved forward on that.
I agree. They should have cracked that open as soon as they had the result.
And with the GPR, Megan wanted me to announce tonight that she runs Crooked Trail Designs. She makes all sorts of beautiful jewelry and keychains. She also makes the Muddy Water Search and Recovery t-shirts. She wanted me to announce that from December 31st through January 2nd, she's doing a 40% off sale on everything across her Etsy account. She is on Etsy. The link is down in the video description. And proceeds from this sale is going to go to Muddy Waters to go into savings for GPR. So she wanted me to make sure to update you guys on that.
That would be awesome. Thank you, Megan.
And I know Christmas is over from the Christmas shopping, but the jewelry she has is beautiful. And Valentine's Day is right around the corner.
For that next comment, there's certain laws in different states. Each state's got a different law when it comes to drones.
Yeah, and a lot of them will not let you fly over private property without property owner's permission. And the argument comes up that airplanes fly over all of the time, but you're looking at different heights there. You're not going to invade anybody's privacy flying over in an airplane, but drones, on the other hand, have been used for the wrong purposes, and that has really, really hurt using those in cases like this.
Tammy Grady.
There's some properties I would love to get a drone on here in Kansas. Property owners have denied access, so legally I cannot fly a drone over. I know in some cases people have flown drones over. I don't know if the law has changed, but at one point, Kansas, it was illegal to fly over private property without permission.
Yeah, we looked into that on one of the live streams.
And just like there is a part of Stranger Creek that many of you reached out to us on asking if we could search that part of Stranger. In the state of Kansas, the landowner that the creek goes through actually owns the water rights to the section of creek that's on their property. So here in Kansas, you cannot access that water without the property owner's permission. And to get to this particular spot, we needed permission from 3 different property owners. One person never responded back, never replied. The second person responded back and said, yes, absolutely, you're more than welcome. The third responded back, and this was the one that we really needed. You do not have permission. Don't you ever access my property. A real hateful letter. And it's come up, could you send a submersible drone down the creek and search it anyway? In the state of Kansas, no, you cannot. You would still be trespassing.
Oh, that couple. I'm just curious. Was the couple that sent the nasty letter back? Were they young couple, middle-aged, or elderly couple?
Megan and I took away from this, it was probably an elderly lady.
Okay. I'm just curious. I know we've talked about this situation many a times. I just didn't remember if we'd ever discussed the people that possibly, because we had to look it up to figure out where to send the letter to and make
Right.
fun, etc. I was just curious if we knew what their age was. Because I know I've had pretty decent luck getting permission done. And then I've had some no way in H hockey sticks are you coming onto my property. So I was just curious. Dan, what about your
I
stuff?
also went through the name and all the names that are associated with that particular case, and I did not find that name tied anywhere. So
What did you ask,
to
Alex?
me, it was somebody who just they want their privacy respected, and they're not going to grant permission based off of that.
Yeah.
I didn't hear what you asked, Alex.
I just asked when you have done some of your stuff that you have
I've
searched.
only had one encounter of negative, and he wasn't really rude, but knowing the people that were involved and knowing the house that I went to and the person that came out, I would have rather not searched on that property.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's
That
the
whole
only.
thing was sketchy.
Yeah, I mean, when you got somebody with an organization, well, we're not on TikTok. I guess I could say it on here. I went to a house to check a property in Edmond, and the person that answered the door had a swastika on his neck, which signified he was or still is part of the Aryan Brotherhood. And there is some information that connects the Aryan Brotherhood to the missing person that we're trying to do a search for. So yeah, I was kind of glad that I seen the tattoo because I could have been the next one back there if there's one back there.
Oh boy. Interesting.
And a lot of people don't realize the hardest part is you have to have private property owners' permission before you can go on their land and search. Whether you like that outcome or not, that's just the way the law works. And we have to respect it as a team because say the case goes to court and there's evidence that we find, but we didn't have permission to be on that property. That evidence is going to be thrown out. And that means somebody's going to walk free.
Yeah.
And then we have our own legal battle to fight as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's better just to ask permission, try to do it the right way from the beginning, and then if you get
and I will say, anytime we are denied permission, we always give them our contact information and let them know if they ever change their mind, please contact us. We will come do the search free of charge, and we will leave their property in either the same or better shape when we leave than it was when we got there.
That is very true.
And with that, Alex, that brings us back to the search you and Tammy went out of state to do. That was an extensive search. A lot of work went into that. And when you guys were done, you'd never know you really dug up the yard.
No, I mean, it just, the only thing that looked any different is there wasn't any grass. I mean, it was all put back, it was put back nicely, leveled, graded out. I mean, it's just, the grass wasn't done, but And that yard was tore up from one side to the other. I mean, a lot of dirt was, was dug up and put back within 2 days, trying to find that missing person. It was another unbelievable search mission, being on the ground. I was literally on my stomach laying in a pit, digging through anything and everything, trying to identify any human remains. So it was definitely a learning experience. I can contest to that one.
And that was the Mark Fullerton case. And based on information that's come in and stuff we've uncovered, we will eventually be going back there and searching other locations for him as well.
Yep. We just won't have dear Jenny to be there with us, unfortunately.
I still can't believe that. That's so sad. And
yeah. Yes, it was. It was so sad and so unexpected too.
right.
So very nice lady. Definitely wanted to find her nephew, and she worked so hard, trying to get answers and stuff. So
And we will continue to carry that for her and continue to work to find him and bring him home.
yep.
So guys, we are over 2 hours at this point. Is there anything you guys want to add in on tonight?
Let's see. The truck thing was a great idea. I know one thing I do want to attempt doing. I do want to reach out to other trucking companies and see if they're willing to put we'll just stick with the National Missing and Exploited Children's database flyers.
Yeah.
Putting them on their trucks. Like, how Walmart, you go into Walmart, you see the National Missing and Exploited Children's wall?
Yeah.
Something like that. Because I know you got Hunt's Trucking, you've got JB Trucking. These are all major corporations. Even Walmart. I wonder if we could get Walmart to do something like that.
I know, like, our Walmart has a big thing up in front that's got the missing persons flyers on it.
No, I mean on their trucks.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody else we could I know this is a silly question, but you don't see the missing kids on the milk jugs no more. Correct? Dan, down there where you're at, do you ever see anything like that? Did you ever see it down there?
I'm not as old as you, but I am old enough to still remember the faces on the milk curtains, Alex. Come on.
I wonder if we could find any businesses that sells products that would be willing to do it. Could we work with companies for like men that make beard care products? Could we somehow talk them into doing it? Could we talk to local people that sell honey? Of course, we know everybody's got jars of apple butter and all that other stuff that you get at any little town stores. I wonder if we could somehow make a donation to them if they would be willing. I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing things out, you know. There's so many ways, you know.
Boxes of cereal.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Boxes of pasta.
Yeah.
I mean, there is so many different packaging. Amazon.
Yeah. I think Jeff brought up one time, I think, or somebody did. I thought it was Jeff, but somebody said, who was it? I can't remember, but about Amazon using tape to tape their boxes that had missing people's pictures on the tape. Instead of tape that said Amazon Prime, it had missing people.
Oh, wow.
I can't remember who said
cool.
it a long time ago. You know, why can't the post office on their boxes, why can't they make boxes that are printed with missing people's pictures on them?
Here, I won't show the address, but look at all that empty space on this package here.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, there's so many different ways. It's just moving forward and trying to get stuff done and get people, you know, somebody's got to pay for it. Somewhere down the line, somebody's going to have to pay for it, you know? So, but definitely we need to write some type of letter to send to companies and ask them if they would be willing to work with us on that.
Well, see, the post office we would have to send to the federal government because they control what goes on their packages. But everything else we can send to private companies.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, it's something we just got to work on. 2024, working on that. You know, public service awareness messaging. So.
See, I'm looking over here. I wrote the P.O. box number down. This goes for any cases that we have that you may have information that may help us, locations of interest. But it also goes for any suggestions you may have for us that can help get the word out on these things. Down in the video description, we always have our contact information. Tonight, it's got our group email address, my phone number. It's got the P.O. box listed on there. That's for anybody who wishes to remain anonymous. But please reach out to us with any suggestions or ideas you have that could help get these cases more attention.
Yeah. And to this day, we have never received not even one item of junk mail.
Man.
Post office box. So.
See, I thought for sure there would have been information on a couple of the cases sent in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Dan, do you know when your next live will be over on TikTok?
I have one every day.
So guys, make sure you're going over to TikTok and checking that out and supporting Dan over there with that as well.
Even if I don't have an Amber Alert, I still have to go live every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Airplanes would be
airport.
Cool. Airports won't do it. I already tried asking Dallas Fort Worth.
No dice.
No dice.
What about tumbleweeds that go across the plains in Oklahoma?
I don't know. I mean, we can put them on the walkers you use when you walk around. They see me rolling.
Yeah. Well, gotta roll some way, right? Well, Dennis, you got any other words of wisdom for the evening?
I don't know if I ever have any words of wisdom.
Yeah.
I always got words, but I don't know how wise they are.
Yeah.
Buses work too.
I seen the mini me. She just came in and out of the picture.
Yep. Double trouble.
Yeah. Well, is this our last video of 2023?
I think it is. Definitely the last live, unless something significant happens within the next several hours. Then yeah, it will be the last video of the year.
Okay. Well,
It's like video number 720, somewhere in the neighborhood of that we've got on here from since we begun Muddy Waters.
man, that's a lot of history we're building up.
Oh man. February 7th marks 3 years since we formed. And that night we will have a big live feed and several things with that we're still lining up, but we'll keep you guys updated on that as we get closer to time.
Yeah. Well, cool. So,
Dan, she is your mini me, but she's the prettier version of you.
Now you seen that head just swell up, right?
well, hopefully it don't swell up to where she loses her hair.
Hey, are you trying to insinuate that's what happened?
No. Nope.
What are you saying about bald people, Alex?
Yeah.
I'm the oldest.
You know, I did a poll in my live stream yesterday. And
Like who likes Mr. Clean House Cleaners or what?
no, it was to see how old people thought I was.
What was
One of the highest years was 63.
oh man. That's terrible, Dan.
Yeah, I know. Now you guys can see the old age. Now you know I'm not old.
Okay, let's see how old people think I am. Let's see if anybody will comment. Let's do the guessing game here for the last few minutes of the show. Let's guess my age, Dennis's age, and Dan's age.
95.
What? Who said that? Said that about Dan? Did everybody leave us? Are they all gone?
No, they're still here. No, I was not born in 63. They said I was 63 years old.
Oh, man.
Oh, and Alex, I'm missing in USA in the chat.
I can't see anything in the chat. So, because I'm on my phone.
So she's saying that you guys. Okay, so Alex looks 45, Dennis looks 43.
Wow.
No, Kim, you can't give it away.
Don't say it yet. Anybody else going to get it?
How old do I look?
No.
not anymore.
Oh, now my other moderators are in here. Great. This is going to get interesting.
They already expressed his age.
They're already saying my age in the chat.
Oh, who's 48? Dan?
No.
No.
Me?
Dennis, you think Dennis is 35?
It can't be me or my head's gonna swell this big.
Hmm.
Mm.
Well, I guess everybody's done guessing.
I'm 21, guys.
No.
Say, Sherry says Alex 47, Dan 40, Dennis 45. B says Dennis, I think 35. I don't know who B is, but I really, really like this person. Maybe my most favorite person in the comments.
Keep it up, Sugar Cane.
Kim says Dennis lighting ain't good.
Lower than that, sugar cane.
See, I've had a couple get within 1 year of mine. Dan is 46. Dan is 47.
See, you know, one of them is right.
Right about your age or right about?
About my age.
I
Hmm.
can kind of see that.
Alex, you need to turn on your comments or something. You got your YouTube channel? Click over to move your chat over to comments and log in with your YouTube.
Okay.
Dennis 43, Dan 42, Alex, I would guess 47 if I didn't already know his ponytail.
Oh, that's great. That was great.
They probably think I'm very young because I'm short.
So the truth is Alex is 82, Dennis is 77, and I'm 21.
Boy, you had a rough life, Dan.
Yeah. Really bad, Dan.
Yes. B is correct. Can they
Is
try and guess my age, though?
You're 2.
No.
How old is she, Dan?
Let them guess.
3.
Let them guess.
I'm gonna say 7 or 8.
I'm going to say 11.
Alex
Oh.
would be maybe 50, 51. I can't see. The mouse is in the way.
That's very close, Kim.
Sherry and Kim are right in the middle. Ponytail got it right.
Yeah, Dennis got it right, too.
Hey, be beautiful. You got a brown stain on your nose. You're kissing butt a little bit too much.
Oh man.
No, I'm not 12. I will be in a couple months, few months. Maybe, like, I don't know.
Wow.
Wow, here you go, Alex.
I
Wow.
painted nails.
I forgot what
Now
38.
Alex's head is gonna get big, and he's gonna get bald.
Alex hasn't seen 38 since Fred Flintstone was on TV, guys.
And you might want to ask, because I use this product right here.
Hey, you can't do that. They don't pay you to do that.
So I would say it's pretty safe to say that I'm probably the oldest.
How old though?
I'm really old. Really, really old.
Alex is not that old. He's only 72. Don't let him kid you.
Yeah. Well, should we tell everybody how old we really are?
I kind of like the 38 myself.
They already know how old I am. They're in my live streams every day.
Yeah. Well, let them know, Dennis. How old are you?
I am 44.
Oh, man.
Is that
Alex,
right,
please say
Dave?
something higher than that.
Okay, yeah, 44.
Please say something higher than that.
44. So I 50.
Oh, yay. I'm the middle guy. I'm 46.
I got it.
Yep. I'm the oldest one of the group besides Tammy. Tammy is 1 year older than me.
You hear that, Timmy? He's calling you old.
Oh,
He shouldn't have.
hey, you're the youngest, aren't you?
Yeah.
Say, I think Megan's the youngest. She's 35.
Man.
Then we got Jeff and Chris.
Yeah.
Now, Jeff and Chris, I do want to say something real quick. I know they haven't made it on a live feed and been introduced to you guys on here, but these guys are doing a lot of work behind the scenes. We have a group chat that we discuss a lot of stuff in, and these guys have been very good coming into that and helping figure things out. In fact, Chris was actually out on the Crystal Kipper search with us, and Jeff will be joining on some searches upcoming, especially this coming year. We'll get them out here in front of you guys before too long. Really good guys, but they have been incredible working back behind the scenes.
Yep. Well, I guess this is it for 2023, unless something happens tonight or
I guess I better look for Amber Alerts just to make sure.
case.
I haven't looked.
Pearl says she's older than all three of us.
Uh-oh.
None. Thank goodness.
Yeah. Yep. Let's hope it stays that way.
Yeah, I would like the new year to end with no more Amber Alerts.
Yeah.
I did have somebody reach out earlier and ask me when we were going to do another video on Randy Leach. I let them know it will be mid to late January. We will try to do a live feed focused on Randy Leach again. The first live feed in January, possibly the first two, we will be focusing on the cases where the person has been found, but their cause of death is really questionable. There's some families we're trying to help with that. So those will be focused on the first one or two live feeds of the year. And then right after that, we'll jump back in and do a full recap on the Randy Leach case and kind of lead up to where we are right now on it. So that will be coming mid to late January. And then I like the idea of inviting Ricky over from Kansas Missing and Unsolved to discuss one of our topics tonight, and that's the negative comments and the allegations and stuff that he may see on his end as well.
Yeah. And just curious how
B says she's younger than all three.
Yeah, she is.
Megan, do you have anything you want to add in here tonight? She's being shy. But guys, with that, Happy New Year's to all of you. Have a safe New Year. If you drink, be responsible. I can't say I won't have a drink, but if I do, it's only going to be one or two. But have a happy new year, and let's hope that 2024 is the year for answers for all of these cases.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The year for change.
That's right. And please don't forget to like, share the videos, share the flyers. If you find it in your heart that you would like to subscribe, one way or another with our stuff, Dan's stuff, please do so. Please help out in any way you can. It's much appreciated, and it's a blessing to help us and help the families and spreading the word and trying to get answers.
And Yvonne says, then you can all come up to Canada and start searching. I would love to do some searches up there. In fact, one of our cases, Jessica Foster, actually lived in Canada, and she come on a trip with a friend and went to New York, and put this in a nutshell, they wound up in Vegas. She ends up with somebody else. She become an escort, and eventually she went missing. And a lot of signs point to trafficking in her case, but she is from Canada. And I can't find any leads of where she may have been. Everything stops right there in Vegas. We're not giving up on it, but so far that's the closest we've come to Canada, to working a case in Canada. I would be more than happy, and I'm sure the rest of the team would too, to look into some Canada cases and see if we could find answers or locations of interest that we can get to somebody up there that could do the search. We would be more than willing to do that. I mean, we're willing to help out in any way that we can.
Yeah. Always trying to help one way or shape, form, or another.
So, guys, with that, I seen a team on a boat in WPG. They were using a grappling hook to search a body. That was so sad. And I'm hoping and praying it never comes down to us needing to rely on a grappling hook. We run sonar. We do have underwater camera system we can lower down as well. As you saw, OK Diver commented earlier and asking if there's anything he could help with. He is a certified diver, and I believe dive instructor as well. So we have access to a diver as well as other divers too. But I really like and trust OK Diver. So I hope and pray we never have to rely on just a grappling hook. I mean, it works and it does a good job, but with technology, it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
Do you know anyone in Utah that does searches? Not off the top of my head. I can get with other teams that we do know and see if they know anybody in that area or if they're going to be in that area. So if you want to lasso Lacey, get a hold of me and we can discuss that. So, guys, with that, again, hope all of you have a happy new year. And unless the guys have anything else,
Just please like and share and subscribe if you can. That would be wonderful. And, just help get the word out.
Yep,
So
awareness is key.
yes. And it's going to keep it going a little bit longer, but bringing awareness to these cases work. We've seen it happen through Muddy Waters. Dan has seen it happen through his TikTok channel. But just simply doing a video and getting the case out has helped bring several people home that we could actually stand up and say it for sure happened because it did. So definitely be sharing. And it don't even have to be our flyers and stuff. If you see a missing persons flyer, take the 2 or 3 seconds it takes to hit the share button and share that. And if everybody did, it will get these cases spread all across the country.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, it will.
Lasso Lacey, she says, okay, thanks. I will get a hold of you. It's not a water search, though. Unfortunately, a lot of the teams that we know that are out there focus just on water. I know we do the ground searches as well. And, it wouldn't be anytime soon just because of scheduling. But we could even look at later in the year, possibly coming up. We'd have to see what the case is. We always go over the cases ourselves too. It's not that we don't trust anybody, but we want to be able to go through the details and see where that leads us, and we could go from there.
So yes, please send in the information and we can discuss it and talk about it.
And we could even pull you into some of the private team discussions on that as well. So, guys, with that, Happy New Year's. You all stay safe. Till next time, we will see you guys next year.
Happy New
Bye-bye.
Year.
Happy New Year, everyone. Bye-bye.